Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my Robinhood portfolio. As you can see here, I made a few dollars today, $18 up. Overall sitting at about 66.25. And over the last week, I've been inching back some losses sustained earlier this month in a speculative play that went the wrong direction. And it's kind of been a roller coaster. You can kind of see here I've been bouncing up and down over the last few trading days. It seems like this scenario has been making some early gains in the morning and then kind of losing those through the later afternoon and then making some back right before market close. And that's been, again, essentially a repeated scenario for the last few days or so. Going up, coming down, and right before market close, coming up a bit, up and down, and right before market close, coming up. And today as well, essentially the same thing. So I kind of want to pop into my portfolio today, just an update video. Don't have a lot to talk about today, although I do have sort of a unique possible investing strategy to end the video here. I'm taking a vacation to Venezuela, and a friend alerted me to possible investment strategy. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this or not. It seems a bit sketchy, but he says that he knows quite a few people who do this, so I might do it. But anyway, let's kind of go through my portfolio. I'm just going to start at the top and kind of work through. So at the top, I got a Vanguard high dividend yield ETF. This is sort of a longer term play for me. It's got a 3.1 dividend yield, but the important part is this is an ETF that I'm going to hold a long term. So it's going to get some capital appreciation as well as that nice little dividend for me. Pfizer, this is the stock along with Portola that's kind of brought me down here. You can see it's trended up nicely over the last 5 years or so, but over the last year and 3 months, you can see it's kind of taken a nosedive here. I actually bought it when it was 37, the absolute peak for the last 5 years. So not a great buy there. I'm going to hold this one long. You can see I've lost $107 on this. That's primarily the driver bringing my portfolio down, along with this Portola here. You can see over the last 5 years, it's been quite volatile here. At one point getting up to the $50 to $60 range before kind of pulling back here and then pulling back again this past month, which you can see right here. That's lost me quite a bit of money, but I'm going to hold this one long. Probably a mistake, but we'll see how that turns out. Bank of the Internet. This one's actually performing very nicely for me. It had some questionable management, but over the last month or so, actually over the last few months, it's been a very solid stock. It's up 31%. I wish I kind of put a little bit more money into that. Actually did have quite a bit more money in, but sold my stock. So made a good return there. Prospect Capital Corporation. This is actually a user suggested buy. It's made me a little bit of money here. Only got a couple shares, not a lot invested. Abbott Laboratories, it's another pharmaceutical or device manufacturer. It does a lot of different things actually. It's quite diversified. Made a investment in the St. Jude company. Does a different thing. I'm not going to go in and take a look at that article, but essentially it's down a bit because of the company had bought some questionable devices in the St. Jude lineup. But I think over the long term that's going to play out nicely. GM here, bought this stock, wanted to get into some automotive. It's got a nice dividend yield, 4.18 right here. So I'm going to hold this one longer as well. It's kind of been up and down, but overall I'm still up some money. Ford as well, cheaper stock. It's got a great dividend yield at 4.844. Overall I'm up a little bit, down a bit today, but still up overall. AMD, this is sort of a speculative play as well. No dividend yield on this one, but it has a chip that's exceptional. It just came out with, actually contends with Intel chips that are 10 times as expensive. So I think this one has some long-term potential. Just got a few shares of that. May put in a little bit more equity. AT&T, this one's kind of hurt me over the last month or so. I'm going to play this one long. I only have one share, so it's not a big deal. It's got a nice little dividend yield here. We'll kind of play that one out long. Canadian National Railroad. Again, bought this one from a user suggestion. It's up a little bit, $3. Only got one share. It's got a dividend yield on top of that, so I'm going to hold that one long. Stag, another user suggested stock. It's up a little bit. Overall, it's about the same as I bought it for. It's got a nice little dividend yield there at 5.7%. Actually, it's a 5-point sign of the beast there. So maybe that's telling me something. Maybe I should get rid of this one, huh, guys? Getting high. Here's some junk bond funds. I haven't have a lot of money invested in these. Got a very high dividend yield, but again, much riskier than investment grades, bond funds, PIMCO, BlackRock, Core Trust. This is a little bit better bonds, but again, the dividend yield is lower, 5.4. And this one here, I got a lot of capital. I was actually contemplating and selling this one the other day for 6.59. Unfortunately, I held on to that, and it's lost me some money. 1 year it's up quite a bit, but with the interest rates going to rise here in the near future, this is one that I may think about getting rid of. And here are just a couple user suggested stocks as well, just kind of fun. 20-cent stock, and here's a $1.45 stock. You actually use this one to show the different type of market orders and how those are used. But my investment strategy that I was talking about, so I'm taking a trip to Venezuela. And the important part of the Venezuelan economy and what kind of opens up an investment opportunity is this chart right here. So this is their currency exchange rate, and that green there you can see the official exchange rate. It's kind of locked in by the government, but actuality, the black market, it's much, much higher. And that's because Venezuela has, and I'm not kidding here, like a 500% yearly inflation rate. So what's happening is that there's no incentive to keep the Venezuelans' national currency, the bolivar. There's no reason to do that. In a year, it's lost all its value. So what's happening is a lot of folks who have the means are traveling to Miami, essentially trading their bolivars there, and or selling them and then bringing back American dollars, which they can then trade for 10, 20, 30 times the actual instituted government official exchange rate. So the opportunity to invest is simply bringing cash to Venezuela, essentially having a free vacation. So I could bring $5,000 to Venezuela, sell them for 10, 20, 30 times the official exchange rate, making everything there essentially free. A hotel room for a couple dollars, a meal out at a nice restaurant for $1, etc., etc., etc. I'm not sure if I want to do that or not. The big part of this that's, as I refer to as sketchy, is finding the individual to actually make the exchange. $5,000 worth of local currency is quite a bit, so I'd want to make sure the contacts I have there are pretty trustworthy, so I don't get robbed, essentially. I think I do have a few